Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at each personal month forecast for March 2023. Before we get into it, just know that these are different from the life path forecasts. So the calculations are different, and more than likely, the energy forecast is going to be different as well. So before you have a listen, make sure that you check the calculation to make sure that you're listening to the right one. This is, of course, a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading dedicated to your own personal numerology report, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below, and I would absolutely love to work with you. All right, let's take a look. Personal month 1. If you are currently in a personal month of 1, this month could bring for you big new starts, opportunities to initiate something, to be more assertive in some area within your life, to take the initiative somewhere that maybe you've been hesitant to take it. This 1 energy often will bring the motivation and sort of set the spark to create the fire that sort of gets you moving, right? So this can be something where maybe you've been putting something off, or you've had some fear around doing something, and this energy brings the confidence. So when you're in a personal month 1, again, you will typically see potentially opportunities coming to you, but a lot of times you have to take the initiative, right? So something may present itself to you, but you have to say yes, and then you have to put in the effort and do the work, right? And sometimes that is going to ask of you to sort of think outside the box, do things a little bit differently. Again, be a little bit more assertive, step more into maybe a leadership role wherever it comes to, wherever this shows up for you. But this isn't an energy where things just sort of fall in your lap. Again, the opportunity can present itself, but you absolutely have to get up and go. Like, you have to take action. You have to go for it. And sometimes that means we have to muster up the courage to be able to do that, right? Especially if it's something that we don't always feel comfortable doing. You may get some big new ideas coming in this month as well. And again, when it's under 1 energy, it's more innovative. So a lot of times it's outside the box, people don't understand it, and you have to sort of take a risk. So there may be things this month, again, where you have to sort of bite the bullet, take a risk. It can be a calculated risk. If that's your comfort level, that's totally fine. But this energy will ask you to say yes to the things that feel aligned for you and overcome any irrational fear, right? Or at least start that process. This is big, bold energy. And again, it sort of pushes us to go after whatever it is that we want within our lives, right? To take that initiative. Now, what's interesting is March is also a universal 1 energy. So you will really have this potent 1 energy that you're working with this month to get those things started. Again, if there's anything that you've been sort of dilly-dallying around and kind of skirting around and been putting off, this is a great month for those big launches, for initiating some big creative project, for initiating a new relationship, a new friendship. Again, whatever comes into play for you that asks you to step up to the plate and sort of be the initiator. That could very much come into play. There is also this energy of, again, being the leader within a situation, but also working alongside of others. So leading alongside of others, right? You're still incorporating and taking into account other people's ideas and their advice or whatever. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's you at the blazing that trail, right? Creating that new path or whatever it may be within your own life and your own experience. So at the end of the day, you need to make the decisions and be decisive around what it is that you want, right? Like whatever it is that you're going for, even if other people don't understand. This is also a very discerning energy. So be very discerning about where you put your energy, right? This is a lot of energy that you're working with this month. So be very discerning about, who you share that with and where you put that and where you put your trust and where it is that you take a risk. I think that's going to be really important to just pay attention to. That is especially important if you are someone who is more or tend to be more passive, or someone who, again, sort of is, I don't want to say like easily influenced, right? That has sort of a negative connotation, but someone who is more apt to maybe be behind the scenes or sort of go with the flow a little bit more. This energy might feel uncomfortable for you this month because it is going to ask you to step up and step out, right? And be potentially in that limelight and to make big decisions that other people may not agree with or they might not be fully comfortable with, but you'll have to figure out how to make it work. Now, on the 7th of March, we have a full moon. For you all, this is bringing forth the energy or highlighting the energy of the 9. So this full moon, also full moons can indicate completion, something coming to fruition, something along like something clearing out. That is very possible also with 9 energy. So it's very possible that you may see something be removed at this time to make way for something, whatever this one energy is trying to bring in, right? So it's sort of like around this full moon, which happens at the beginning of the month, on the 7th. You could see something, again, kind of fall away or come to completion or be closed out to make way for this big one energy that wants to sort of dominate this month. It's also possible with this 9 energy that you may see things come to light where you can be more of a presence within your community or in assisting other people. 9 energy is that of the humanitarian. So it's that of helping others, assisting others, empowering others. And so you may see that the 1 energy that you're working with this month complements the 9 energy around this full moon in showing you where it is that you can sort of be more assertive in how you present to your community, right? Like how you show up, the work that you're doing within your community, or again, with colleagues or friends or whatever, right? Something bigger than self. So you have like kind of these, it's not opposing energies of the 1 and the 9, but they're kind of on opposite sides of the spectrum, right? You have the 1 energy that's very like self-driven, self-assertive, very self-oriented. And then you have the 9 energy, which is very more about the all, right? You could look at it almost like you have the 1 energy of the ego and the 9 energy of spirit or the soul, which encompasses the all. And so you might find around this full moon that there's a little bit of push-pull, tug of war, and you have to sort of figure out how to manage that energy so that you can meet in the middle, right? So that you can make sure that you're satisfying the needs of self, but also satisfying the needs of others. So pay attention to whatever comes up around that at that time. This full moon may also ask you to release any grievances, release anything that needs to be released around like forgiveness or resentment or anything of those lower vibrations that's sort of bogging you down. You might find at this time that you've got to take the initiative. You've got to be the bigger person in the situation to alleviate whatever whatever needs to be alleviated. Around the 21st or 22nd, depending on where you live within the world, we have the new moon. And the new moon for you all is bringing in the energy of the 5 and the 6. So this new moon may bring about changes within the home. Things that maybe come to light around the home where you need to be adaptable or have compassion or understanding or find common ground, right? So it might be that maybe you've got children who are very much aware of the times, right? And maybe you're a parent who is still, used to working from a mindset of when you were younger type thing. And so, life changes, things change, whatever, the times change. And so though you might not agree with some of the things that your children are necessarily, some of the mindsets or the behaviors or whatever, right, as society changes, or the new ideas or whatever, though you might not necessarily agree with them, if they're not harming themselves or others, this might be a place where you need to come to some kind of compromise, right? Where you're merging the old with the new type thing. That's very possible under this new moon as well. It doesn't have to be with children. It can also be just things around the home, right? Or things with finances. Maybe there's a certain way that you were spending money around the home or saving money around the home. And maybe you want to, because you've got the 5 energy, maybe you want to splurge a little bit more. Maybe you want to go traveling and spend more time away from the home type thing, right? And exploring. That 5 energy brings in that sort of desire for that. So again, it's just finding moderation, finding that sort of common ground, so that you're not sacrificing, but you're compromising, right? In some area that has to do with the home or your very intimate relationship. So again, like romantic partners, spouse, children, family, friends, very close friends, closer community, whatever, what have you. The 5 energy brings about some kind of change or a need for change and what that looks like for you, right? Like you have to figure out what works for you. But there's some kind of pressure around some kind of change around the home that you may not be comfortable with at first. And you kind of have to figure out how to maneuver that. And again, this new moon is going to sort of put the light on that to sort of force you to sit down and think about it, right? And to figure out how you can sort of bring the harmony around these potential changes, right? So just be prepared for, potential changes, shifts when it comes to the home. Again, it's a general reading, so it can show up a million different ways. The keynote here is to make sure that you are trying to be as adaptable as possible, right? Without, again, sacrificing your own values and your own needs, but compromising where you can compromise. So beautiful energy for you all this month, personal month ones. I hope it's a great month for you. Take care. Bye for now.